welcome traders to our start of week technical analysis video. So jumping straight into things here from where we last left off in our midweek technical analysis video. So as you remember, we was consolidating around this area here at around 3,390. As you can see, price then continued on bearish from this level, the first level of support, the first lower low at 3,353. Price then pushed up to the level of 3,370 and tested this rough area as a resistance before price then fell down, now testing around the level of 3,330, a key and significant pivotal point for gold, as we have spoken about in previous videos. As you can see, we are sort of creating a bullish wedge at the bottom here, with price then continuing on to consolidate and move sideways. If I go ahead and go down to our minute 15 time frame with a few more key levels in place, you will see that we are sort of consolidating, creating those higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, there has been some bearish momentum since that most recent higher high was created. We double touched it at 3,343, with price then continuing on bearish. However, as you can see now, buyers are stepping in and starting to take control, indicating to us that obviously we have our next our next higher low. So indicating to us, so we have our first lower low, our next lower high, our next higher low, our next higher high, and then obviously our next higher low. So if we continue this same sort of fashion, we're looking for price to come down to around this area here of around 3,355, which is the same area that price tested at around this level here. So that's the first confirmation that we're going to be looking for in terms of some bullish momentum. So something along these lines here. So what we're going to be looking for is for price to continue on bullish from this point onwards, with the first confirmation signaling to us that we are going to see a continuation of some bullish momentum, being that price breaks this first or this most recent higher high. Obviously, we have created our next higher low. We're now anticipating and waiting to see if price can break through that previous higher high. If we see that broken through, this is the next level that we're going to be looking for, around that 3,355 level. Why do I say this level here? Is because it was the last lower low that was created before obviously we've now fallen into this lower time frame bullish wedge. Once we see price, and if we see price break through this lower low here, so 3,355 area, we're then going to be looking for the most recent lower high, and so on and so forth. So we'll break this level, then we're looking for this level to be broken through, and then eventually obviously breaking through the last higher high that was created in this bullish uptrend before price then catapulted and continued on bearish. Obviously, the final level that we're going to be looking for is that all-time high of around 3,500. Obviously, we do have a long way to go, roughly around 1,600 pips. So a little while yet. However, we do have some big economic events taking place this week. So this week we have, obviously this is some latest updates, just some random stuff that's going on. So as you can see, so gold pairs gains as the US dollar strengthens on a trade deal ahead of the Fed. So obviously if you're in tune with all the economic stuff or all the news that's taking place, President Trump has been doing a lot of sort of investigations around the Federal Reserve, and sort of picking at certain things and pushing things and making sure they are going to go back in order. Again, we have gold futures edge higher, but remains subdued on easing safe haven demand. So obviously there's a lot of stuff around gold as of right now in terms of economic news. Obviously this week we also have the job openings on the 29th of July. We have the GDP growth rate and a Fed press conference. This is a big one, not as big as what we have coming on Friday. However, it is definitely going to be a big one, especially with what we have been expected. So obviously, as you can see, the forecast for the interest rate decision is going to be 4.5 as it was previously. However, this can always change. Obviously, if it is positive, we'll see the effects, the same as we will if it's a negative news event. And then here we go, more stuff just on the economy. In terms of the US economy, we have some personal spending, personal income, sort of monthly changes. And then the big ones here is the non-farm payroll and unemployment rate, followed by an ISM manufacturing PMI. So there's a lot of high economic events, high economic news events and high impacting news events that are going to take place this week, which if we do see negative news for the dollar, which is looking likely. We are probably going to see that bullish injection, buyers taking complete control of the gold market, pushing price potentially that 1,400 pips that we need for price to then start to create a new all-time high. So with that being said, that's going to be our post-week market, our start of week technical analysis video. Obviously, that's the reason why I've said that is because we normally do a post-week market review. However, this time I decided to do a start of week, switch things up, keep that diversity, and also keep adapting, as that's what we need to do. We don't want to keep things the same. Things get boring like that. So once again, that's going to be our start of week technical analysis video. I hope you have all enjoyed. As always, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below if you are enjoying these videos, if there's anything that you'd like me to add, change, remove, etc., etc. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.